governance in India is being achieved, and I wouldn't say it's already completely achieved, it's being achieved by use of technology. The 5G that we've launched in our country is completely indigenous, standalone. Through the accounts, many other facilities are also available. Now we find women account holders have received benefits. Governance in India is being achieved, and I wouldn't say it's already completely achieved, it's being achieved by use of technology, and a certain transformation has happened, which I can say with certain confidence, in the last 2 years. The level of acceptance, the level of adaptation by the people is unbelievable. I'm not making a political statement here, but there were very clearly apprehensions in India, even after 2014, when we started ramping up the capacity for digitalizing the economy. If in India this technology will make any difference at all, will people be ready to use it? We are so used to decades of connectivity being poor, electricity not being available, people not being so savvy about using gadgets. So there was this apprehension that you may want to do a lot of things to get technology to the people. You may want to invest in bringing in technology to people, but people are not going to be ready to adapt. People may not be comfortable because, one, they may not be so ready to use such gadgets. And the general sense of condescension saying, how will villagers? That kind of. And also, and truly, in India, you get electricity, but with fluctuations. It's not dependable. You don't know at which hour it will get cut off. So with all this, genuine concerns, because our progress in these areas had been very, very patchy, people thought it's never going to take off. But the fact that between 2014 and 19, the focus which was given for these areas, reach electricity to every village. And once you've reached the village, reach it to every house. And once you've reached the house, convince them that they don't have to pay huge electricity bills. We'll give you bulbs which will consume less electricity per watt. So you had the LED bulb distribution, taking electricity to the households, making them understand how it's going to work, and that there is a fair distribution, and so on. You had everything which technology requires as a prerequisite already reaching villages, giving confidence that systems can work. And then equally you went with optical fibers to the panchayat level. When global benchmarks, global standards were the ones which India had to look up to and say, we'll have to catch up to that level. We'll have to learn from that and do it. There are still a lot of areas where we still have to learn a lot of things and do according to benchmarks set elsewhere. But on the digital thing, be it payment, be it identity, be it health, be it education, be it also the way in which your compliance requirements are all being taken care of. India has actually set benchmarks. And there are countries which recognize that this scale of achievement, this absolute watertight proof that it is unfailing over the years, over the numbers and the size of the expanse that it is dealing. We actually have set global benchmarks in the way in which digital economy and the services that digital platforms can do for us. And that itself for India is a very big confidence booster. Our economies doing well business is largely because the confidence in what has happened in the last 2 years, palpably felt by people who so deserve it, are standing out. And that is why I would think that the economy's revival is on a sustained path. Because of the global recession, if my demand is going to fall externally and my exports are going to suffer, and because of a strong dollar, my Indian rupee would suffer, all this taken on board, there's a sense of confidence in India that we will go through this and we'll be able to still perform. It's because of the way in which technology has been used for the public good. People are able to see that there are constantly approaches made for getting better credit, easy credit, to sustain business, small, big, medium. Normal gripe would be big businesses somehow find their resources, but the small ones are the ones who don't get any assistance. Today, the small ones have not just getting assistance, but sitting at home, they can access through the digital. These are actually great lubricants when the economy is wanting to find ways in which they can come out of the lockdown or come out of the difficulties of a largely extraneous problem, which is because of prices going up, commodity prices going up, inflation which is coming because of large amount of currencies held here or there, money is coming in, FDI, money is going out, FPI. Despite all that, these are the building blocks of India's confidence, I would say. The story is yet to reach the public, but the 5G that we've launched in our country is completely indigenous, standalone. There could be some critical parts coming from, say, countries like Korea, but certainly not coming from somebody else. So completely indigenous technology that we can now provide 5G for countries which they want, which whoever wants it. So our 5G is not imported from somewhere else. It's our own, product. And the spread of it is also rapid. You've had private companies which have, made these 5G products themselves, have very clearly said, by this year end, a certain amount of primary locations. By 24 end, most of the country will be covered. So on 5G, I think we can be immensely proud of it. Do we collect data on women-run businesses? Do we have data on women who require credit? Women, they are happening in different ways by different independent sources rather than, I would think, the government. But because of the way in which schemes have been developed, women are getting covered. For instance, there is a scheme called Mudra, which is a small loan being given for small businesses in which you don't need to bring in any collateral, you don't need a guarantor. You could come and take the loan and service it. And it is also, the interest rate is also concessional and so on. 45% of all loans given have gone to women businessmen. One. Jan Dhan Yojana, where you open the accounts, but through the accounts, many other facilities are also available. Now we find women account holders have received benefits and also are accessed by banks to give them targeted programs. Third, when we supported the startup schemes, the fear was that it's going to be a very urban-driven process. All startups are in cities, metropolitans. We said, no, we need bank branches of every bank in every area that they would be in the villages, even if there was just one branch of a particular bank. It would do the same as was being done for startups to local innovative entrepreneurs. And from among them, one should compulsorily be a woman, one should compulsorily be a scheduled caste, one should be a compulsorily from a scheduled tribe. So that has been mandated to the banks. So women entrepreneurs, innovative ones, get their loans there and then in the area in which they live. So the stand-up is actually trying to promote women entrepreneurs, innovative ones in particular, who can go in for patenting their innovation and so on. So through that, businesses are developed. And similarly, for skilling, a lot of activities are being taken up in which women-friendly activities, not just tailoring, papad making or anything, even going into the shop floor and doing things. And finally, in villages, with budget provision being made, we have said women should be recognized as farmers who actually do farming activity. And farming is no longer just working on the fields. It could be that you own a bovine animal and therefore you produce milk, or you have sheep or goats, or you're running piggery, or you have a family which lives on fishing from the sea or from the freshwater. All of them have been categorized as Kisan and therefore get concessional assistance from the banks. And recognizing women as part of farmers is also part of this.